Ciao, homie.
Event number 1 at the Rogue Invitational inaugural Strongman Contest 2021 is complete, and it was the elephant bar deadlift. And we should take a look at what the results were. Some were surprising, some were expected. I picked the right winner. But aside from that, we did have a few surprises, so let's have a look at how that panned out. First of all, the contest is being held at the Dell Diamond, a 12,000-seat outdoor stadium in Round Rock, Texas, just outside the Austin, Texas area. You have commentator Sean Woodland and Big Laz Lawrence Shahley. So always incredible to see Big Laz with his wealth of experience and knowledge commentating on these particular contests. So let's jump right into what happened in the deadlift. So the way that it was organized is it was an elephant bar deadlift, so the bar that has a bit of flex in it. They get to choose their weights as they go along, and the weight never goes down on the bar. So when a particular competitor takes his lift, and each of them got up to 3 lifts. When he takes his lift, the next competitor to go has to attempt that weight or more. The weight never goes down. So an interesting set of circumstances here on this particular event. So we have first Mikhail Shivlakov, who unfortunately zeroed. He came in 9th in the order, so a bunch of guys went before him. And when I say 9th, as I said, you have to have the weight on the bar never go down. So you can have, for example, Luke Stoltman went 2 times before, some guys went 1 time. So when I say 9th, I mean it's the 9th guy we saw, but maybe somebody we saw before may have gone more than once. Crazy thing, he didn't have his beret this time, so Laz mentioned it. I noticed it as well. Very strange for Shivlakov not to have his beret. He had a super narrow stance with his toes pointed out. So, you know, a lot of the guys having different stances from each other. His calf and his hamstring, he had them both pretty heavily wrapped up, and he looked like he injured one of them on his right leg at the lift. He really couldn't get the lift up at 891 and seemed injured right away, unfortunately.
Training in a home gym, especially if you're training by yourself, can be tough because sometimes you just don't have the motivation to go in your garage or your basement and get it done. And that's why we stream competitions every month on the Garage Gym Life Media YouTube channel. I'm John Greaves, the third founder of Garage Gym Life Media, and after 20 years of training in a home gym, I can tell you that there's some days when I just don't feel like training. And those are the days when I put on some sort of training video or other strength-related content to give me the extra motivation I need to get in there and get it done. There is nothing more motivating than seeing people achieving their goals at a powerlifting meet or a strongman competition. And that's why month after month, we provide that content to you right there in the comfort of your own home on our YouTube channel. Plus, we leave it up forever so you can always just throw it on in the background anytime you need that extra dose of motivation to get you going. And that's why, if you're not already a subscriber to Garage Gym Life Media, I invite you to take advantage of this opportunity to add this powerful training tool into your arsenal, because I want you to succeed right there in the best gym in town.
We then had another 0 on the elephant bar deadlift, and that was Mateusz Kiliaszkowski, and he went first, so he couldn't budge his opening weight at all. It was 781 for him, so that was the lightest weight on the bar for anybody. He tapped his right lat afterwards, so hopefully not an injury there either. We then had 3 points going to Luke Stoltman, so he went 3rd in the order. His first lift was 801, no problem at all. He was fast off the floor at 846 as well, but needed a hitch to lock it out, but did get it. And that was as far as he would go. He looked close to 100% of his ability at 846, so I didn't think he would get any more, and he failed at 886 when he came back up in the order when it was his turn once again. Then we had 4 points going to Jerry Pritchett, who managed 856 pounds, so he went 4th in the order. Started off with 806 on his first lift. It was slow and steady, but did not look as explosive as he has in the past. His second lift at 856, so 50 pounds more, looked better for some reason, so he maybe warmed into the movement a bit. Then he came back up for a third lift at 906, and it wouldn't come off the ground, so 856, 4 points for Jerry Pritchett. Then we have Alexey Novakov, who went 5th in the order. He was started off at 821 pounds, slow off the ground, but seemed to accelerate all the way through. His second lift at 861 seemed very easy and very smooth to me. He had a narrow stance, toes pointed into the floor, as Laz mentioned, so kind of to help that leg drive. He failed 896 right around the knee height. And it was weird. He brought his phone to the lift and laid it down next to the bar. Maybe something a lot of guys do that I've never noticed, but I noticed it this time. It was pretty funny. So 861 pounds or 5 points for Alexey Novakov. Moving on up, we have 6 points going to Rob Kearney. So What I've noticed so far is each of these guys, I was kind of off by one predicted placing on a lot of them, except for Shivlakov. So pretty close. I was, high one or low one. So interesting how the algorithm's panning out. But 876 pounds for Rob Kearney. He went seventh, started off at 876. He had a big controlled hitch halfway through, which Laz mentioned was reminiscent of his coach, Derek Poundstone, and he gets it with that controlled hitch. He misses 911 pounds after getting it around the knee area. Tried for a second time, but it wouldn't come off the ground. 7 points then go to Brian Shaw. So Brian manages 881 pounds on the elephant bar deadlift. He went 8th in the order. He was slow and solid at 881. 911 moved about an inch or two off the ground. So his second lift was 911 pounds, and he moved it about an inch. Then he kind of took a hop afterwards, so hopefully it was just momentum carrying him backward and not any kind of injury. 8 points then went to Martins Lises, who went 6th in the order, started off at 856 pounds. He walked up to be kind of 5th in the order, but then they said, oh, wait a minute, Luke Stoltman's declared weight is actually 10 pounds less than yours at 846, so he has to go first, so Lises had to go sit down and wait his turn again. It was a little bit strange, but a lot of effort to get his first lift up at 856, but he did power through it. I didn't see any hitches there, and then he, big kiss to the crowd. I think he's really appreciating the opportunity to be back on the scene at the highest level and really enjoying himself. And by the way, the crowd was really loud for everyone during this event, cheering like even during the lifts, not just after successful lifts, but cheering to kind of egg the guys on and really motivate them through. The crowd has been really, really into it, which was awesome to hear for sure. And then we had 9 points going to Tom Stoltman. So Tom, not showing signs of fatigue from the very recent Britain's Strongest Man win. Tom Stoltman, 9 points here, 911 pounds for him, so he went second in the order. Opened up at 796 pounds. It was an easy, comfortable pull. Big Law said maybe he wanted to get comfortable since he's never lifted on this bar before, so he started off at maybe a little bit lighter weight. Second lift was at 881. It looked easier than Brian's 881 for sure. You could see a difference in the level of effort. And his third lift at 911 pounds looked pretty smooth as well. I wouldn't say it was easy, but it wasn't hard either. There was not a doubt he was that he wouldn't make it. So 911 pounds for Tom Stoltman. And our winner, which I happen to have predicted correctly, 10 points go to JF Carone. So he went last in the order. He opened up at 906 pounds. It was a speed rep for him. It looked unbelievable. I'll put up some pictures here so you can see it. And 926 was his second lift, another speed rep. He went and kind of had a quick discussion with Brian. Brian had already missed 911 by that point, I think. So I don't know that I don't know if he'd be allowed a third lift, but if he would be, I don't think Brian thought he would beat JF on this particular day at this particular event. So after that discussion with Brian Shaw and Jerry Pritchett, and then he walked over to Mateus as well, but Mateus was never in the running here. I guess the decision was made, like JF won't take a third attempt. He'll take the win, and everybody's fine with that. So 926 pounds and 10 points in event number 1 at the Rogue Invitational Strongman 2021 goes to JF Carone. So he's off to a roaring start. And I think the Sear Dumbbell Medley begins in about a half hour Central Time. So I'll keep my eyes open for that, and we'll see you again after that event has concluded. Once again, thanks again for joining me on my blog, Strongest Man.